200 million euros, the largest Digital Services Act fine ever issued against a marketplace. The European Commission caught them by going shopping. They bought baby toys and phone chargers off Temu, tested them in a lab, and discovered the biggest bargain app in Europe was flooding the continent with products that could burn your house down or choke your toddler. This is the story of how Temu built a 130 million user empire on dangerous junk and how Brussels sent them the bill. April 2023. Temu launched in Europe with a promise so simple it felt almost too good. Direct from the factory. No middlemen. Prices so low they made Amazon look like a luxury brand. The app was everywhere overnight. TikTok influencers filmed haul videos, unboxing mountains of stuff that cost less than a sandwich. Spin the wheel for bonus discounts. Invite your friends for free credits. The whole interface felt less like a shopping app and more like a slot machine that occasionally delivered earbuds. And it worked. Within a year, Temu had over 92 million monthly active users in the European Union alone. By mid-2025, that number had climbed past 130 million. 1 billion app downloads worldwide. Germany, France, Poland, Italy, Spain, all recording double-digit growth. PDD Holdings, the parent company registered in Dublin but operating out of Shanghai, reported $54 billion in global revenue for 2024. They spent $3 billion on marketing in 2023 alone, including $2 billion on Meta ads and Super Bowl commercials. The growth was staggering. But here's the detail that everyone missed at the time. Nobody was checking what was actually being sold. See, Temu doesn't make anything. It connects Chinese factories directly to European consumers through a marketplace. Millions of product listings, third-party sellers, mostly based in China, uploading whatever they want with minimal verification. An algorithm designed to push the most engaging products to the top of your feed, regardless of whether those products met a single European safety standard. And over 10,000 influencers across TikTok, Instagram and YouTube being paid to promote these products in viral haul videos without any clue whether the items they were unboxing were legal in Europe. Consumer groups noticed first. In early 2024, BEUC, the European Consumer Organization, along with 17 national consumer groups, filed formal complaints. They tested over 200 consumer goods from Temu, and the results were horrifying. 53 out of 81 items across toys, electronics and jewelry came back dangerous. Phthalates in children's toys at 240 times the legal limit. Lead in jewelry at 10 times the maximum. Dummy chains long enough to strangle an infant. Children's clothing with cadmium levels 622 times above legal safety limits. Chargers that failed every basic electrical safety test thrown at them. In France, the DGCCRF found that 75% of products tested on Temu were non-compliant and 46% were classified as outright dangerous. But the EU wasn't just listening to consumer groups. They were already watching. On the 31st of May 2024, the European Commission designated Temu as a very large online platform under the Digital Services Act. Any platform with more than 45 million monthly EU users triggers this designation automatically. And that designation triggered the strictest rules in Europe's digital regulation playbook. Temu now had 4 months to conduct a full systemic risk assessment of its own platform, to identify how illegal products were reaching consumers, to explain what its algorithms were doing, to prove it had the situation under control, and this is the part that makes it perfect. Temu's response was essentially a copy-paste job. They submitted their risk assessment at the end of September 2024, the Commission read it, and what they found was a document built on general e-commerce industry data, not Temu-specific evidence, not analysis of their own platform's risks, not investigation into how their own recommender system was amplifying dangerous listings. Generic boilerplate. A box-ticking exercise for a platform with 130 million users. The Commission sent formal requests for information in June and October 2024. They wanted specifics. How does Temu prevent banned sellers from re-registering? What stops dangerous products from reappearing under new listings? How do the recommender algorithms interact with product safety? Temu responded. The Commission was not impressed. But if you thought that was embarrassing, the mystery shopping made it worse. The Commission didn't just read Temu's paperwork. They went shopping on the platform themselves. An independent testing organization purchased products directly from Temu and ran them through EU safety labs. The results were devastating. A very high percentage of chargers failed basic safety tests. We're talking devices that could short-circuit, overheat, or start a fire. Baby toys tested at medium to high severity risk. Chemical concentrations exceeding legal limits. Detachable parts small enough for a toddler to swallow and suffocate on. Not edge cases. Not one or two defective items buried in millions of listings. A systemic failure across every product category they tested. 100% of cosmetics sampled were non-compliant. 73% of hairstyling devices were dangerous with fire risk. The evidence showed that an average EU consumer browsing Temu was very likely to encounter illegal products just through normal shopping behavior. The algorithm was actively recommending them. On the 31st of October 2024, the Commission opened formal proceedings. The investigation now had 4 focus areas: sale of illegal products, addictive platform design, including the gamified reward programs, recommender system compliance, and researcher data access. But the EU wasn't done. Not even close. By July 2025, the Commission issued preliminary findings. Henna Virkkunen, Executive Vice President for Tech Sovereignty, Security and Democracy, put it plainly. She said, consumer safety online is not negotiable in the EU. She said Temu is far from assessing risks for its users at the standards required by the Digital Services Act. She called risk assessments the backbone of the DSA, not box-ticking exercises. Temu had months to respond, to argue their case, to demonstrate improvements. And then came May 28, 2026. 200 million euros. Final, non-negotiable. If you're watching Temu try to explain this away, hit subscribe. I cover a new corporate disaster every week. The Commission's finding was specific. Temu failed to diligently identify, analyze and assess the systemic risks of illegal products on its platform. The risk assessment was generic, the mitigation was inadequate, the algorithm amplified the problem, the influencer programs made it worse. And a mystery shopping proved it, with physical evidence. Michael McGrath, the EU Justice Commissioner, said he was shocked by the sale of potentially dangerous products via Temu. He said he was determined to step up enforcement of product safety laws and consumer protection rules. And Temu's response? A spokesperson said they disagree with the decision, called the fine disproportionate, claimed it relates to the Commission's first DSA evaluation from 2024 and does not reflect the current state of their systems. They pointed to $100 million invested in compliance and product safety in 2025, with plans to double that in 2026. The Commission was unimpressed. The investment came after the investigation was already underway. But the numbers tell a different story. The fine is 200 million euros. Under the DSA, the Commission could have gone up to 6% of Temu's total worldwide annual turnover. For PDD holdings with 54 billion in revenue, that theoretical maximum would be over 3 billion. 200 million is less than 0.5% of revenue. The Commission arguably went easy on them. And this wasn't even the only Chinese marketplace getting hit. Shein is under formal DSA proceedings for similar failures. AliExpress faces interim findings. The Commission is systematically working through every major cross-border marketplace that treats EU safety rules as optional. But here's where it gets really interesting for Temu specifically. The fine comes with a deadline. Temu must submit a detailed action plan by the 28th of August 2026. The European Board for Digital Services will review it. If the plan is inadequate, or if Temu fails to implement it, the Commission can come back with more. Bigger fines, stricter monitoring, and the DSA gives them the tools to do it. Temu says they're reviewing the decision and considering all available options, including an appeal to the General Court. As of now, no appeal has been filed. So here's where things stand. A platform that grew to 130 million European users in 2 years by making shopping feel like a game just learned that games have rules. 200 million euros for treating a risk assessment like homework you copy from the internet. Baby toys with chemicals at 240 times the legal limit. Chargers that could burn down your apartment. And an algorithm that pushed all of it to the top of your feed. The next platform I'm covering thought they could ignore European data rules entirely. Their fine made Temus look like pocket change.